council meeting of December 6, 2016. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to let the public know that item number 2 on the agenda has been pulled. Number 2. Madam Clerk, could you open the successor agency housing authority?
A quorum is present.
This presentation by Tony Scarborough.
Good afternoon, Council. Mr. Mayor, I just want to take a brief moment and say I'm a resident of Inglewood for 15 years. My name is Tony Scarborough. I'm a resident of Inglewood for 15 years, and I'm so excited for the Rams being able to come to my backyard that I want to present this ball, handmade ball, which my cousin and I make, to the city of Inglewood.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you guys for all your hard work and effort to bring the Rams and jobs to the city of Inglewood. It was much needed. And I have a second ball here that I want to also thank Councilman Ralph Franklin for setting this up for me to be able to do this presentation.
But now you're causing problems,
wow,
see?
that's
You just give them one to Franklin.
No, I'm sorry.
All right. No, go ahead. They'll
Sorry.
deal with it. They'll deal with it.
But I've been knowing Council Franklin since Local 77. He's been a great guy, and he's been a friend of mine, and he helped a lot of people. But long story short, I wanted to instruct, if possible, that I could get one of my balls for my own person signed by all you city council people, since you guys were so gracious to make this happen for my own memorabilia at home.
Be glad to do it.
And last but least, I donated a ball. Gave the mayor a ball when the groundbreaking day, and he could take his home.
Actually,
Wait, hold on.
Hold on. So, come to order. That ball is in the conference room for everyone to share.
No.
All right?
I personally
All right.
wanted to give that to the mayor because, and he could take it home and put it in his own man cave, and I dedicate this one to the city.
All right.
I'm sorry.
All right. Why don't you come over here? We'll take a picture together.
Tuesday. I know. And I'm not coming. Oh, okay, so I know. This was you. Rub over here. I'm going to do this.
Thank you so much.
Any persons wishing to address the city of Inglewood, the successor agency, or the housing authority, the finance authority, or the parking authority, would you call them all to order? On any item of today's agenda, other than the public hearing, may do so at this time.
Good afternoon. I wanted to comment on a couple of things. Item number 5, I see that you have come to an agreement with some of the management agencies in the city, and I wonder how much that's going to impact the budget that we're already behind in, and if the figures are out there for that.
Actually, it was factored into the budget.
Was it?
Yes, sir.
Well, okay, we shall see. The other thing that I am concerned about is this money you're giving to Saffron and Associates. You know, you basically give them that property as it was, the price that you give that property to them for is the price that some of these homes in Inglewood are going for, all this property that you had given them. And now, you know, you are,
Actually, Mr. Fisher, it was sold at fair market value, and it's
you
much
are
more
paying
than the
now
home.
for additional $25,000 when you've already, I guess, given them $100,000 for an environmental impact. You know, it seems to me that we shouldn't have to be paying for that, you know. We got caught up in a lot of money before with this on this region project, and now we're giving more monies away. So, you know, it concerns me that we have to pay them for things I believe personally that they should be paying for themselves.
Correct me if I'm wrong, isn't this what Thomas Saffron Associates has to pay?
Confirming that right now. Let me just check real quick. Let me confirm that, but I think you're right, Mayor.
Okay. No, absolutely, obviously, we're paying for it. We're amending the budget. Okay.
Mayor, you're
All right.
correct.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Are there any other public comments?
Absolutely. My name is Diane Sombrano. It's unfortunate that you feel compelled to constantly interrupt because that is rather rude. And yet when somebody interrupts you, you get very antsy and annoyed. So I too am going to express my concern with regard to how we go about proposing a budget that includes a specific agreement that has not yet been agreed to, as in your salary issues of item 5. Theoretically, that should have been something that the individual bargaining units have an opportunity to accept or reject, and yet you decided to base the budget on whim? I don't know, it just seems kind of interesting that we then come back to that item number 3. It should not be the responsibility of the taxpayers to pay additional fees when in fact the developer got the land for what you claim is fair market value. But when we look at the properties just across the street on La Cienega, you can't hardly buy a house for $1 million, but you gave them all that for $8 million. That's pretty sad. Anyone who looks at areas and says, hey, why is this part so much more devalued than another part? It's great for a developer. It's just not so good for the general fund of the residents of this community. And of course, you want to sit here and tell us that, oh, everything is going to be perfect. And yet you keep on spending, spending, spending when we have not quite so much of that income rolling in yet. It's kind of like spending on a credit card and hoping that you get a job to cover the expenses. And that's really not the way a city should be run. That's how those other cities end up in the financial distress that they are. And unfortunately, while everyone might think that sports is the end-all to be-all, there are other expenses in the universe that are a little bit on the important side. I don't know, maybe healthcare and hospitals and, well, things we no longer have.
Okay, we'll close public comment. Item 1, CSA 1 and H1.
Move on all payments.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Aye.
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 Aye. Madam Clerk, what's the next scheduled matter? Has the notice of the hearing been given in the time, form, and manner as required by law, and do you have the affidavit on file?
Notice has been given and affidavit is on file.
Have any communications been received on the matter?
No communications have been received.
Is there a staff report, Mr. City Manager?
Yes, Mr. Lewis Atwell, Public Works Director, will give the staff report.
Mr. Atwell, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm fighting some kind of virus, so please bear with me. This public hearing is to receive input from the public regarding the adoption of a resolution ordering the Boulevard, Cable Place, and a portion of Florence Avenue. The Los Angeles Crenshaw LAX light rail system is currently under construction and scheduled for completion. The line will serve Inglewood via proposed 3 stations: Florence Avenue and West Boulevard, Florence Avenue and La Brea Avenue, and Florence Avenue and Hendry Avenue. To accommodate the construction operation of the new system, requesting the city operation and vacating street by Metro will increase pedestrian accessibility, traffic flow, and provide connector links to the minor and do not require the planning department to provide a determination pursuant to government code section 402.
Are any persons present who wish to address city council on this matter?
Yes, having attended some of the meetings that were noticed 2 days before the actual event to only the people within 500 feet of said vacation of these streets, it's sad to me that when they asked, and how are you going to mitigate the traffic coming south on West, no one had an answer. Because that dead ends right into the cemetery portion of our community. So no one had an answer to give to the people then. And I would hope at some point the rest of the community did get an answer, because that will impact them. Those residents have been there and have had to come and to go, and many of those streets are blockaded off, and getting in and around to their own community where they actually live can be quite an adventure. But apparently no one wanted to give them an answer then.
My name is Willie A.G., and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood. I call this progress. Sometimes you have to give up a little to get a lot more. And the way the city is growing, we're going to need this transportation to bring the people in, take them out. I tell you, it's awesome. If necessary, I'd give up my house, and I've been there 53 years for progress. But some people just don't understand it, you know? They got one-track minds, you know? Been here for 75 years and haven't accomplished nothing and never will accomplish nothing, but they're gonna tell everybody else how to run their business. They're gonna tell these professional people here what they should do and what they shouldn't do, you know? I support this 100%. Thank you very much.
I don't think anybody's any more professional than any other mind. You know, we all have minds, we all have thoughts, and we have our right to speak to those thoughts and to our minds. With regard to this issue, though, you know, it's my concern, number one, and I said it, you know, when they started all this coming through Inglewood here. You know, they go to all these other communities, you know, they can go overhead or underground. They came through Inglewood here, and none of you would speak to it, but to allow them to do whatever they wanted to do, you know, even with those people over there on Redondo Boulevard and stuff, you know, those people used to go through there into their homes and stuff, so you took that away from them. It seems to me that all this stuff, and I said it and I'll say it again, that with this rail coming through here, you know, and going down there, Eucalyptus and all those other streets that those young people have to cross over to get to the schools that are right there, you know, it's a problem, and it should have been addressed, you know, and it could have been addressed, you know, and you could have stood for this community and for the people in it, just like other communities do. You know, you go north of here to Wilshire and all this stuff, and everything is underground or overhead or whatever, you know. You come here into these minority communities, and you say, yeah, we'll give them whatever they want. I think it's wrong, you know, but you let them do it, you know, and we get screwed behind it.
Okay, close public comment.
Move adoption.
Second.
I have a comment. The reality is that the planning for the rail line to come through Inglewood was done probably 10 years ago. And the moment I got in office, I actually tried to get a grade separation at Centinela and Florence. We have grade separations at La Brea and Florence, and we have great separations at La Cienega and Florence. And so it actually is untrue that the council didn't fight to get everything grade separated, but you don't get everything that you want. And so to make it sound like this is the action of this council is wrong and misleading, as I think Mr. Fisher knows. Madam Clerk, will call the roll. Councilman Franklin?
So piggybacking with what the mayor's saying, that back in the days when we had Mayor Roosevelt Dorn, and I am the chair of the Metro South Bay Service Council, we met head-on with Metro in two areas, specifically on this matter. One, that we wanted grade separation at Centinela and Florence, which was denied. They call it a betterment. We had to come up with nearly $40,000 to $50,000 to come up with that, do it. Now it's even more than that. Second, we tried to get the roadway, the light rail to go down Prairie, as opposed to it continuing to going down Florence. That failed also because they did not have land acquisition or access to those properties, and it would delay the process they needed to move forward on getting this light rail moving toward closer to LAX. So I did want you to know that there's been a lot of discussion, negotiation, as the mayor indicated, over the last several years. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And it's important because some people might listen to this on television and actually think that Mr. Fisher knew what he was talking about. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin. Mayor Buds.
Aye. Item 3.
Consent calendar.
Oh, I'm sorry, consent calendar as a whole, items 2 through 8.
9.
Move approval.
It would
And
it would be 2 through
2 was pulled. So items 3 through
9.
8. Oh, no, excuse me, 3 through
9.
9, my bad.
Move
Second.
approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Council and agency members for number 9, Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin. Mayor Chairman Buds.
Aye. Item 9. Oh, excuse me. DR1.
Staff report recommending adoption of a resolution to update the bylaws of the Inglewood Parking Authority.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Council members, agency members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin. Chairman Buds.
Aye. A1.
Thank you, Mayor. No oral reports from the city attorney.
DM1.
No oral reports from the city manager.
C1.
Mayor, thank you. I just want to remind everyone again, nomination period is December 12th through January the 6th, and we have holiday hours, so I just want to share those hours on Monday, December 19th, December 20th, 27th, and the 28th. The city clerk's office will be open from 8:30 to 12 noon. And that's the end of my remarks. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. CT1, Madam City Treasurer.
Thank you, Mayor. I did purchase a federal farm credit bond on Monday morning. It's a 2% bullet, meaning that I'll have this for the full 5 years. And basically the 5-year Treasury curve is, for 2018, is expected to be about at 2.45. So that's a pretty good bond. Farm Credit don't usually send out too many bullets. And also, I'd just like to mention that the incoming Trump administration has vowed to enact a number of unprecedented proposals, including massive government investment, reduced regulation, as well as simplified and lower tax rate policy, among others. The notion of such positive change has sent shockwaves through the market, raising expectations for a resurgence of the American economy and moving fiscal policy ahead of monetary policy. With few specifics, however, they go on to state that with such an ambitious agenda, it's virtually impossible to predict. And I would also like to point out that regarding real estate markets here in Inglewood, according to one of our local brokers, Inglewood is selling at its highest. We just closed one at 3644 Medicine Lane for $685, one at 3661 Luther Lane at $695,000, 4 bedrooms, 4 bath. Also one at 3609 Chaplain Lane, $700,000, and one in your neck of the woods, Councilman Dotson, 10411 for $630,000. So the market is certainly doing quite quite well here in Inglewood. So I'd like to point that out, and would also like to mention with 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining, the Treasury Index.
Well, at least she's watching the clock now.
The Treasury Index finished in a negative territory for the 4th consecutive week through Friday. In addition to 25 basis point federal move on December the 14th, investors now expect 3 more rate increases through the end of 2018. And the 30-year at 2018 is projected to be, the 30-year Treasury is expected to be at 4% by 2018. That concludes my remarks and
Thank
report.
you, CI1.
CT, oh, okay.
CI1?
Initiative by Councilmember Padilla requesting that sponsorship approval for the 2016 annual District 2 Toy Drive to be held on Saturday, December 10th, 2016, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Community Center located at 1201 North La Tijera Boulevard
Move
in
approval.
Inglewood.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dotson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales, Franklin, Mayor Mayor Butts. How did that happen?
Oh, no.
You did that too. You did that. I'm sorry, Mayor.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Any persons wishing to address City Council on any matter connected with city business not elsewhere considered may do so at this time. 1 minute.
I hope what I said about these metro stations, and Councilman Franklin, I can remember as you were over at Faithful Central, and Mr. Howyer and myself were over there, and I can remember, we went with these same arguments with regard to them trying to, and as to what you said about being expeditious, I don't care about this thing going to the airport, it's this community that we live in, that should be important to you, them, not to expedite something, for the airport. What's going to happen is going to happen, but I say to you all again, that it was wrong. And I say to you in the end that they ought to have these meetings at 7 o'clock so people who work can get over here and see and say about really what's going on in the city. I don't think it's getting out like it should to the public.
How interesting that last week you took issue with the fact that I mentioned that mayors that preceded in this city had accomplished great things. And you said, nobody gets to speak ill of anyone else in this community. And yet today, well, Mr. Naysayer caller himself got up and didn't use that word, but attacked a very fine gentleman, as you did as well. And I think it's interesting that you seem to want to give the impression that the opinions of some have lesser value than the opinions of those who only praise the actions of this council. And that is a very unfortunate concept, because the thing is, when someone chooses to sell their integrity to gain your favor, you can't buy it back. It's gone forever.
I want to speak about something that's positive. I have a magazine here. It's done by a young man that lives in the city of Inglewood. His name is Richard Dries. This is very representative of this city, and I would like for the council, each member of the council, to take a look at this work that this young man is doing here in this beautiful city. It's really awesome. It made me cry when my picture's in there too. I'm not saying because my picture is in there, but this man deserves a little credit. looking at. I tell you, he is awesome, non-biased. He represents the city of Inglewood, and just like you people, when you vote for approve the metro, you're representing the majority of the people, not 3 or 4 here sitting up here. And I didn't call her naysayer.
Didn't call anybody anything, Mr. Agee, we got that. Any other public comments? We'll close public comment, council comments, Councilman Dotson, District 1.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last Thursday, we had our city tree lighting ceremony. If you missed that, you missed a great affair. I mean, it was representative of Inglewood. Even though we lost our tree to the storm, we had another tree. It was very well done. And we had snow, and we had hot chocolate, and we also had entertainment. So that tree lighting ceremony was a very good affair. If you did not make it this year, please try to make it next year. It'll be even better and bigger. I want to invite all of you to my Christmas toy drive, which will be held December 12th at St. Mary's Academy. The recipients of all those toys will be Warren Lane and Kelso School students. So be generous, come out and give some toys. We will also be wrapping some of those toys on December the 10th from 4 to 8. So if you're a good wrapper, come out to the ICOP Center on the corner of 7th Avenue and Manchester between 4 and 8 and help us wrap some of these toys for some of the children. I'd like to ask the mayor, if you would, please, to close this meeting in memory of Alfonso Perdue, a 44-year resident here in Inglewood, better known in my neighborhood as Al. Also, Leonard Matthews, a longtime resident, probably 50 years if I'm not mistaken, and he was a wonderful principal here at Inglewood Schools. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful day and a great rest of your week.
Say Minute Matthews?
Leonard Matthews.
Leonard, okay. Councilman Padilla, District 2.
Thanks, Mayor. A couple of comments. You know, it was just great to see the community that came out. It was a bigger crowd than the year past for the tree lighting. The weather was great. It was cold, so it really, you know, lent itself to feeling like Christmas, like the time of year. So I want to thank all the community members. I especially want to thank staff, folks over at the forum that put it together, that made sure that we had a nicely decorated tree on such short notice because the other one had come down. But just a great community event that just proves that we're headed in the right direction. I also want to thank Councilman Franklin. I wasn't able to attend, but last Friday there was a grand opening of housing that was built by Habitat for Humanity, and Councilmember Franklin stepped up and was there and represented the mayor and the council at that presentation. So thank you, Councilman Franklin, for taking care of that. I also had an opportunity to attend a block club meeting in the 300 block of Hargrave. I want to thank the community that came out. I also want to thank Sergeant Freeman Smith, who did a outstanding presentation to talk about what's happening in public safety-wise and to give folks tips on how to protect yourself and your property during this holiday season so that you don't become a victim of a burglary or some other crime. So kudos to the police department for their presentation. This coming Saturday, I'm having my District 2 toy drive. It's that year again where we all have our toy drives. Mine is on Saturday from 10 to 2 p.m. Everyone in the community is welcome to come out and support the toy drive. It'll be at the District 2 Community Center, which is over at La Tijera. and Fairview, or Fairview and La Cienega. Right there used to be the old abandoned gas station, which is now transformed to a beautiful District 2 community center. With that, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you. Councilman Franklin, District 4.
Yes, I'm using my colleague's mic because mine is out of order. I have 4 items I want to address. First of all, I want to follow up of what Treasurer Wanda Brown said regarding.
Would you see if yours works now? Mic works? No, still out? Okay. All right.
So, first of all, following up with Treasurer Wanda Brown regarding the economic boost, that I'm proud to announce that in Imperial Village in the 116th block, 3300 116th Street, that they listed a home at $480, but with such a demand, it sold less than 30 days at $495. Show you how the people are really reaching out to try to come to the city of Inglewood. Second of all, I too would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge all of the love, sweat, and tears and tokens of appreciation by the staff and all of the carolers, the performers, et cetera, at the tree lighting ceremony. Little nippy, but overall, it was great to be there with family, friends, and loved ones to celebrate this holiday festive season. Also, I want to announce that the District 4 is having our toy and food drive, both for the elementary schools, public elementary schools in my council district, and also I'm working with the nonprofit arm of the city to bless the seniors and foster parents. And so we are anticipating to bless 350 families. We welcome you for you to come and support us this Thursday at the Police Community Center at 2666 West Imperial Highway from 5 to 8 p.m. We'll have food and refreshments for the benefactors, and also we'll have some of the teachers and principals there and others to say thank you for the blessings you're providing. And then finally, as my colleague indicated in District 2, I was invited to participate as a support, and I realized that I was going to be the person in action of the Greater Los Angeles Habitat for Humanity of 3 new Inglewood residents, Inglewood families as first-time home buyers. Outstanding. They're truly going to live the American dream. Here all 3 of them, families, are coming from overcrowded conditions in apartments, and now at that event, they got their key to their house, and it was celebrated, and we was blessed with the recognition of the families. I'm proud to announce that one of them is Tamara Lindsay, who is a former U.S. Navy veteran, Elvira Mercado and her son Jonathan Mendez with her granddaughter Ashley. And then the other family is Gamachu Asif Azela Abad, which is the wife. And it was just an outstanding event, heartwarming felt to see a brand new structures and the beaming of the families now moving in. And on that note, everyone have a blessed, happy holidays. Thank you.
I wanted to talk briefly on some issues that were raised so that there's no question in the mind of the public about them. One, we had 2 members of the public, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but no one's entitled to their own facts. And here's the facts about the old Buffton Cadillac site. We call it the D3 site. It could only be sold when it appraised at market value, and it had to be approved by the Department of Finance, and it also had to be approved by the other taxing entities that were due to get a piece of the sale. So it wasn't even in the city of Inglewood's purview to say what price it would be sold for. And it was sold over 2 years ago, and maybe some people aren't aware, but since the end of 2012, property values in the city of Inglewood have climbed over 85%. And so to complain that it's worth more now is like complaining about the good work the city's done to make property worth more. So you really can't win for losing. As it relates to the raises, yes, we did project a deficit to pay the raises, and we're depending on filling on those with one-time money, which we do have in the bank. And we felt that, the council as a whole felt that, the employees had been deprived for so long that they deserve not to have to wait 3 more years for the stadium to be open to try to start to catch up with the funds that they've lost, because of the way the city was run prior. So when you budget, it's a projection. And so the question was asked, how could we know what we were going to pay them if we were going to negotiate? Well, we do know what we could afford, and we do know what the most that we would pay would be, because we have control of that, and we anticipated that and budgeted for that. So that's how you do that. A budget is just a projection. It's an estimation of what revenues will be for the year and what expenses will be. In any given year, you seldom ever spend everything that you expect to spend, and sometimes you actually bring in more revenues than you anticipate. Sometimes you bring in less. We've projected deficits in 3 of the last 4 years, but in 3 of the last 4 years, we've ended up with surpluses. So that's the question for the public, if you had any question about that. And this keeps coming up from 1 or 2 people about, why we don't have 7 o'clock meetings. The reality is that these chambers, they can only hold 40 people due to fire regulations. And there are far more than 40 people in this city. We have 115,000 people in this community, and very few of them attend council meetings. But we play these council meetings on television repetitively on TV throughout the week. So to say that the 40 people that come to these meetings, and we get about that during the daytime on the average, are representative of what the community thinks is pure folly and fallacy. I want to close the meeting in the name of...
I haven't spoken.
Oh, you haven't? I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Then before I close the meeting, I'd like to hear from Councilman Elo Morales of the 3rd District, who will really, really give us something to think about.
I was going to say all that. I had it all written down on my
sorry,
notes.
Eli, I
No,
was
that's
itching.
okay. You caught me on a day I don't have much to say. Now I got to come up with something. No, I just, I missed the tree lighting. It was the first tree lighting I've missed, I think, in all the years that I've actually been on the council. But one of my sons was receiving an award, and I can tell you that all my kids, they enjoy that event. But here in Inglewood, it's a moment where we start our holiday season, and it's always a great time. I have to say that we're always getting asked about the meetings I was going to mention at 2 versus 7, and I can tell you that nothing's really changed. Whether it's at 2, whether it's at 7, nothing's changed on our behalf. We get the same folks coming in, and it's not a big deal. And the same residents call us. So it's not something that continues to be brought up by different folks or at the meetings or at the block clubs, just the same folks. So, that going forward, I don't anticipate any change at all. But anyway, happy holidays. Thank you.
And you reminded me, we had between 4,500, 5,000 people at the tree lighting ceremony. When we used to have it out here on the lawn, we'd be lucky if we got 500 people. We had 3,000 last year, close to 5,000 this year. And all those folks were happy. And not one of them asked about 7 o'clock meetings. There you go. All right. With that, I'm going to close the meeting in the name of Alfonso Al Perdue and Leonard Matthews, and we're adjourned.